EA Sports NHL 24. It's been rough. For many years before jumping over to the then next-gen consoles, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the NHL series was fun, fresh, trustworthy, and exciting. But many game modes in the NHL series haven't gotten much TLC since 2014.
Pricey pond hockey you got going there.
Many things have been undone, removed, or unchanged for years, and this game is really starting to show its age. This video isn't a dunk at developers, as I know absolutely zero about game development myself, so I'm by no means an expert, and I have no clue the time and effort it takes into games, so take everything I say here with a grain of salt. But I know the NHL series has room for improvements across the board, and that being said, I'd ask my fellow NHL players one simple question, really. Where does NHL 25 go from here? For this video, I will be talking mostly about the EASHL game mode, as that's what we play, and well, that's the content here on the old Razzle Dazzles channel. Still, most of it will pertain to all game modes. Here's a look at what we will be discussing in the video. I will do my best to give feedback and how I think it can be improved, and this will also help make things a little bit easier. With that being said, let's dive in. Gameplay. Everyone's favorite topic, and probably the most integral part of any NHL game. I think we can agree that the full pressure system was a good idea, but the execution simply just wasn't there. And at this point, it has all been but removed from the game. I hear it over and over again in the Chell community, how players who are the better team every single game, doubling shots, tripling time on attack, but lose the game 4-3 when the other team takes a whopping 11 shots with 230 on attack. Pressure does nothing. Goalies still have one-timer saves despite being dead. They stay with every single deke, but throw a puck unscreened at the blue line and your goalie, he's becoming human Swiss cheese. You can tell me all you want that's hockey. Sure, maybe if you're playing on Rink B versus the Mighty Drunks at 11 p.m. on Wednesday, but at the NHL level, it's not hockey. And I wouldn't mind if those bloopers happen once in a blue moon. They do score sometimes like that in the NHL, but not nearly as much as they go in during EASHL play. The pressure system is simply a scam, and it feels like it doesn't reward players who cycle with a puck and set up plays. More often than not, it just ends up taking some guy with gold heat seeker to throw something on net, and it's a goal. Update after update, it has been nerfed. They might as well take it out. Good initiative, poor judgment, EA. Puck clearing. Why is it next to impossible to clear the puck now? Players have more animations than ever to catch the puck, and even catching slap shots, which is absolutely absurd. Why was there any reason to take out the puck clearing mechanics from NHL 23? EA, bring back regular puck clearing. Glass breaking. Don't bring it back if it disrupts flow of hockey every 5 games. I should see the glass break once every 50, not every 5. Speaking of hitting and glass breaking, hitting again. Another good idea with the body check and shove system this year, but again, poor execution. When you land a massive hit, far too often the guy you just blew up is back in the play faster than you are, simply because you're locked into an animation that takes longer than it takes them to get up. One-timers. Why did EA feel the need to change the dynamic of holding the L2/LT, depending on your console, and standing by for a one-timer? Another thing that was fine in years past and now is an issue. As soon as a one-timer is tossed your way, you throw a shove check and you're taking an interference call. Despite them stating that they nerfed it, we still get calls like that all the time. Even after EA said it's patched, it's just not. Stick lifting. Why is it 2024 and stick lifting is still the penalty button? More often than not, you'll be in perfect position for a stick lift and end up whiffing or taking a penalty. Stop making defense harder and harder. We've touched on goalies, but I'd also like to see goalies get more animations for playing the puck. Truthfully, I've been playing NHL since NHL 99, so it could be old man yelling at clouds, but I really don't think that any goalie puck handling has been altered since NHL 09. I'm not saying to make the goalies Pavel Bure out there and stick handle and Patty Kane style through the legs or anything, but for the love of God, let the tendies be able to play the puck a little bit better. Net battles. Revamp them. As a defenseman, it's way too hard to tie up opposing players in front of the net. I'll be mashing triangle or X, trying to prevent a tip, but since I can't, it just ends up in the back of the net. The tie-up controls simply don't feel responsive. Same goes for board play. That's also been virtually unchanged since its inception. Those are really the big ticket items for gameplay as of right now. Again, we plan on doing a more in-depth video covering NHL 25 gameplay once the game comes out, as it's a loaded topic and we kind of have to wait and see. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time simply talking about a game that's obsolete in about 2 months. Customization. Customization is a massive part of what players love from EASHL and other game modes. Creating your own team, logos, jerseys. The problem is, it's an absolute crawl to customize anything. Customization is a broad topic and a huge identity of EASHL, so we will start a little slow, and we'll just pick the low-hanging fruit. What the actual fuck is the store? The store for buying gear is nothing short of a joke. Items released every day in low quantities based on NHL divisions. Just let us buy what we want, when we want, instead of having to hope every single time that an item is there that you want. To put it into perspective, I purchased the game the day it came out. As of the day I'm writing this, I am a Prestige 3 level 45. It is July 2024. And it wasn't until last month I was finally able to buy the fucking Bauer skates I wanted. 7 months it took to catch the store on the right day at the right time for the simple Bauer Supreme skates. Why? Why can't players who often play and level up actually be rewarded and allowed to buy the gear they want? Instead, it's luck of the draw and almost like a lottery. Now let's talk about hockey bags. Why are they still in the game? If players have nothing in them but coins, then just put the damn coins in my coin total instead of having to open endless bags, because nobody wants to open them anyway. Same goes for club bags. Just allow access to the items at certain levels instead of making every club open bag after bag. It's just more simple and it works. Now for the more fun part of the customization category, uniforms, characters, and stadiums. In terms of uniforms, I actually don't mind the customization portion, but there are some things to change for sure. Give us custom logos already. Now I know that can be a slippery slope, but hear me out. Just have a moderation process in place, create your own team's logo, and send it in to EA for their approval. They could allow teams only in Div 1 or with a certain win percentage to lower the submissions. This should help mitigate any offensive logos and keep it pretty clean. I think they have a lot of jersey options already, and I don't think that needs to be tweaked just yet, but I do have a brief idea that I'll share. Introduce a customization tool for jerseys. Change striping positions and thickness, maybe gradient placements, different materials like the Golden Knight sweaters, how they have that material on those gold jerseys that they wear. That's getting into the finer details, of course, but that's something I would really like to see in the future. The lobby while searching with your club in EASHL, it's called the dressing room, right? If it's called the dressing room, actually make it one. As a team enters the lobby, show them walking into the dressing room, interacting with each other, talking, laughing, being a team. And when you actually start searching for a game, show the boys a little deeper into pregame routine. Hell, it's a long shot, but just something simple and personal would be to customize your locker that you have in EASHL. Maybe show accolades or taped puck milestones sitting on the top shelf of your locker. Or something as simple as importing the animations from the Be a Pro dressing room environment with your EASHL pros would be fucking awesome. It just makes it a little bit more immersive and you, well, feel a part of a team. Character customization is where we see a major drop-off. This has been stale for years now. The same generic faces, same hairstyles, same everything. Why has EA not implemented face scan across the board in all games? Allow us to use our own faces, please. If not face scan, then allow us to fine-tune our characters. Let's change the facial structure, hairlines. Look how in-depth games like 2K Basketball and MLB The Show get. NHL simply just feels like it's stuck in 2015. Not only would this appease more simulation-style fans like us here at Razzles, but it would make for funny characters to appease more of the arcade-style fans. Give us the gear we want. Allow us to make our character how we want instead of random Joe Schmo NHL year after year. That's all we want. As for stadiums, clean them the hell up. There's times we have smoke coming down on the arena when the Jumbotron is hanging far too low. Glitches on the player benches where the floor is simply morphed or transparent. Endless fire shooting out of the Jumbotron glitch that happens far too often in EASHL. Intro props hanging from the rafters that are literally there for nothing. Clean it up, EA. The customization isn't really too bad, but the problem is they allow customization on arenas where it shouldn't be applicable, much like having smoke coming down on the way too low jumbotrons, or how they have all these intro props that never touch the ice, which I'll touch more on that later as it's in another topic. Presentation. Another category that needs a major overhaul, and to me, one of the most important aspects of EASHL, presentation. While they did add national anthems and on-ice graphics before games, it simply isn't enough. My biggest gripe is really they need to separate EASHL and World HL, and what I mean by that is simply keeping EASHL presentation more of a simulation or a broadcast, and keep drop-ins in the World HL play more as that zany kind of arcade mode. I get what EA is going for with all the sellies and pre-game intro animations as hero shooters have blown up in recent years, offering crazy dances, emotes, and customizations. EA wanted to do the same. That's great, and I actually don't have an issue with it, but please, keep it away from EASHL clubs. EASHL should give you that immersive feeling of hitting the ice at the pro level, getting ready to battle with the boys and lose yourself for a bit and pretend to be an NHL player. Give us pre-game intros, the boys getting hyped up in the tunnels, actually using the intro props, like the shark skating out of a shark mouth. Having your own intro songs as you hit the ice. Then use the anthem to have the name and the ranks of players come up. Keep those Fortnite dances, werewolf masks, and God knows what else in the other game modes. Make the two actually feel separated instead of just Frankensteining them together in hopes players will want to buy more shit from the microtransactions. Again, I see what EA was going for, and I do think it has a place in NHL, just not in EASHL clubs. As for replays, can they get them out and redo it, please? Replays are broken this year. They last far too long. I think some of the angles they use are actually kind of cool, but they drag out for 20 seconds. What are we doing, EA? I would love for them to get back to the broadcast in more grounded format, at least for EASHL club games. Population. Many different factors come into population of EA NHL, many of which I'm not going to talk about because I like to keep it EASHL related, and the population issue for the game as a whole is an entirely different rabbit hole. But to me, the biggest one, and well, I know some people won't like this, stop supporting last gen. Not only would this force more people to finally switch over to next gen, but the developers can finally focus on the road ahead instead of making a game for 4 separate consoles. I know it sucks for anyone not wanting to make the switch to current gen, but this is simply holding the game back. The dev team for NHL is already thin enough, but making a game for 4 different consoles, just holding the series back even more. Now it's EA we're talking about here, so who knows, maybe it wouldn't improve at all, but in theory, to me, it allows more focus on just 2 platforms and should make finding a game not take 20 minutes. With more time to focus on the game, this allows for hopefully more care to EASHL. Computer AI. Where do I start? This year in NHL 24, I would argue that it's the worst it's ever been for AI. I feel like this would be good for a future video, as I could go on for hours on this. We know how bad AI is, so I won't harp on it too long, but because I want to target this in the future video, I'm just going to list some issues here and move on before I kind of go on a huge tangent. Defense. As a left defenseman who plays EASHL, having Steiner or Lee as my D partner is an absolute liability. Beat down the boards almost every time, changing the strategy does fuck all. You are better off parking a cone at the blue line and just leaving him there. Puck pickups. Why do comps love to either skate away from the pucks or just not skate towards loose pucks that are easily grabbable? Puck catches, although this isn't strictly limited to AI, I definitely find it more prevalent with AI for sure. In what ungodly world do players catch absolute piss missiles? Comps far too often catch attempted clears by slap shots, which is just unrealistic no matter which way you want to put it. Hustling. There is never really an urgency from AI unless it's an icing call. How many times do you hit a comp on a breakout pass only to go offsides because you caught up to him and managed to cross the blue line before he did? Or you'll hit them on a breakout pass and they're skating back into your own zone. And the shitty bank passes off the boards that never work from comps about 99.99999% of the time. Please, get that out of the game. Also, why did we eliminate having the option to tell comps to shoot the puck? This year, you can no longer manually tell your computer. It used to be the poke check button, which is either R1 or RB, depending on your console. You used to be able to tell the computers to shoot the puck. That's been removed from the game for some odd reason, despite being in since like NHL 09, I think. Computer goalies putting it in their own net. Computer players skating it into their own net and scoring an own goal. Steiner and Lee always just shooting it as soon as they get a face-off win in the zone. It goes on, and again, I would like to make a much more in-depth video on this in the future, as I feel like we can dissect this for over an hour. But I'm just going to leave it here and move on before I continue to get angry. Miscellaneous. Lastly, here are some topics we may dive into in the future, but these are more so bullet point ideas that I feel they could be improved on in EASHL, so I'm just going to kind of list them off here. Bring in a new fight engine. The fighting has been the same since NHL 14. Bring in Winter Classic mode to EASHL. Don't make it too often. Make it a special event like the real Winter Classic. Maybe it happens to your team once every 75 games, something like that. And it doesn't even have to be a trademark stadium. Just make it a generic outdoor stadium. Just give us that outdoor Winter Classic feel as an EASHL team. Pre-game warm-ups. Maybe only make it last a minute with the option to skip. That way you can kind of warm up, scoot around, maybe change a loadout if you're not feeling it. Who knows? But that option to skip is also an important factor that I think will make that feature work. Better fan presentation. The fans have looked the same since, NHL 18 maybe? I think they updated it once where they had people taking selfies and whatever, and I don't, it just needs to be updated. Another one here that might not be ever added, but a man can hope, because who doesn't like a little toxicity in games and a little bit of banter? But proximity chat between whistles or periods, I think, would be absolutely elite, but I do think people would be getting banned left and right, so I don't foresee them ever adding that, but a man can hope. Give us more in-depth team practices. Allow us to play against each other in a practice or a scrimmage to where we can run 2-on-1 drills instead of just having to scrimmage where it's a full team versus a full team. Allow players to choose their stick flex and curve again. This was a feature that was taken out years ago, and I don't really know why. It allowed players a little bit more customization with their twigs and would allow them to have a shot tendency and maybe a little bit more power into shots. You also were able to do the same thing to skate blades, choosing the different radius you had for maybe tighter turns or maybe to go faster on a straightaway. Again, why this was taken out, I don't know. Another minute detail that I hope it bothers somebody as much as it bothers me, and if it bothers me this much and I'm complaining about it, then oh well. But for the love of God, EA, we have water bottles in the game that players look like they drink from. Why have we not added actual water into the water bottles yet? I feel like this has been a thing since NHL 14 maybe, and I could be wrong, but far too often the players will go to take a drink of water and, well, nothing comes out. It's ghost water. Please allow goalies to customize their mask finally. I don't know why that is not in. I'm not saying you need to add like emblems and logos and stuff. Or if you wanted to do that, just have generic ones set up in the game and allow placement on it. Allow players and goalies to customize their mask to the full extent. It doesn't even have to be a trademarked brand. Just use generic logos and allow players to do it like that. Bring back visual fight damage. I'm not sure why that was taken out, as that was a really fun feature and you used to get bumps and bruises when getting in tilts and scraps and line brawls with the boys. And now it's not in the game anymore. I'm sure it'll be added in a few years and it will be touted as a new feature. Lastly, we'll get some more fluent cellies in there. I don't know why they felt the need to add that terrible camera this year, but let's have the camera pan to you instead of just hard cutting to a camera on the ice and a weird spotlight animation that just looks horrible. Please, EA, give us regular cellies back. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we appreciate you taking the time to hear us out and hope we can maybe make an impact in the EASHL community. We aren't pros and we don't make any money doing this. It's simply just a passion project for a game we love, and that has unfortunately fallen from grace. So please don't critique us too hard. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and comment below what you'd like to see in EASHL. I'm Alec from Old Razzle Dazzles Hockey, and until next time, see you boys.
Oh, let's go, dude. Oh, gone.
See you, boys.
Gone.